So, what about a watery type of person? If you like watery people, what might you say about them?
Very emotional.
Emotional, sensitive, adaptable, creative, very often, because in water there's a lot of potential creative energy, isn't there? But if you're not particularly keen on the watery type of personality, you might say that they are wishy-washy and a bit hard to pin down and a bit wet, depending on how you feel about that element in that particular person. What about a fiery type of person? If you like the fiery type of personality, what might you say about the fiery person?
Angry.
Pardon?
Lots of energy. Angry, strong.
If you like them.
Oh, if you like them.
Sorry, what was that?
I said you've got lots of energy.
Energetic.
Motivated.
Motivated. Enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Driven. Passionate.
Full of beans.
Full of beans.
Destructive.
Hang on, I haven't got there yet. Driven, energetic,
Active.
motivating. And if you don't like that kind of fiery energy in people, you might say that they are angry, irritable, impatient, aggressive, pushy, bullish, OTT, a bit intense.
Which one would you want to be? That's awesome. I don't want to be any of that.
Well, it's not a case of wanting, it's just a case of how you perceive yourself and how you perceive people. And if we're limiting ourselves to the 5 elements, then we can learn more about the thinking of that time. What about an airy person? Someone that okay, let's go for the negatives then first. So this person might be airy, fairy, very sort of up in the clouds, not able to sort of, difficult to pin down, because you can't pin down air, can you? No. And if you like that kind of energy, you might say they are?
Free spirit.
That's a good one. They're a free spirit. They're a breath of fresh air. Light. Because air is light, isn't it? So they're light, free, breath of fresh air. And the final element is the element of space. So what is a spacey type?
Yogis.
So why? What do you mean?
Well, because when you do yoga, you create space.
You do, but what is your experience of that kind of person? Calm. Why? What is that? How does that relate to the element of space? Why might a space? Because there's distance. There's spacious. There's a detachment.
Awareness.
There's a detachment from the stronger forces of fiery, watery, earthy emotions. So a spacious person gives you space as well to be what you want to be, because they are good at holding you. Because space holds everything. If you look around you, the reason for space is as a kind of a holding tank for the other elements. Morning, Joan. So, if you don't like the spacey kind of energy,
They don't want to get close to you.
well,
No commitments, there's no,
so yeah, you might think, they're just too out of this world for me. They're too,
Passionless.
Sorry?
Passionless.
Passionless. Yeah, there's no drive in them at all. They're just kind of. Even finding the words is difficult because space is an absence of something, isn't it? You could say placid, passive, because there's a passivity about space. And that's the design of it, really. And so people who hold elements in their personality or express elements, that's what we all are. You know, we are all expressing the 5 elements all the time through our personality and our nature.
Space and air seem to be very close.
They're similar, yeah, because
They're both invisible.
they're both invisible and they're both light. So there are qualities that they share. And in Ayurvedic medicine, both space and air work together.
Right.
Because all the hollow organs in our body are space filled with air.
Okay.
If you think about it, yeah.
Is space equivalent to metal in 5-element theory?
It's I don't like to mix and match too much because there's a lot of mixing. Yes, there's an overlap between air and space and the metal element, definitely. So there we have it: earth, water, fire, air, and space. These are the kind of objective 5 elements that we can talk about. But then we have to kind of think, okay, well, what has that got to do with me as a person? What has that got to do with my life? Then we have to kind of think, how do those 5 elements express themselves through the functionality of me as a being, me as a person? So the way that happens is in Ayurveda they have grouped these elements together into what they call functional entities, functional forces, so that the functions of the body can be explained through the elements. And the way they've done this is to create a concept called the doshas. I'm going to wipe this off now. So a dosha, the word dosha means prone to fault or prone to change. In other words, it's expressing something that is intrinsically unstable. It's something that has no long-term continuity. Because when you think about nature, the only thing that's certain about what happens in nature is that it is changing all the time. And so if we are expressions of nature, then we are changing all the time as well. And even though our sense of ourself is that we are not changing that much, in reality, when you look at the functions of our body and how everything works, you realize that this idea of continuity, the continuity of the I, is an illusion. And this is something that yoga talks about. That who you think you are is an illusion, because this continuous sense of the me is something that is built on memory rather than reality. Because in reality, we are part of nature. And the word for nature is something I've introduced to you before, and it is called prakriti. Prakriti. And this is the word that's used in Ayurveda also. And it is used to express our constitution, our own innate nature. So some of us are more earth, some of us are more water, some of us more fire, more air, more space, like that. But we all, regardless of our prakriti preferences, or our prakriti genetic code, if you like, or cosmic code, if you use the astrological model, we all have all 5 elements. working within us, functioning within us.